Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be going over the books I read in May. It's only 3 because one of the books put me in an extreme slump because it was so hard to read and get through. But I did it. It only took like 12 days. Yeah, whatever. So, the first book I read is Every Time We Meet at the Dairy Queen, Your Whole Fucking Face Explodes by Carlton Mellick. And this one I read for the Books and Us Buzzwordathon, and the word for May was every, so every time we meet at the Earl. And that's why I picked it up. And I also found it in the Books and Us video when she was doing her Barbie video. She watched a TikTok that said books that weird Barbie would like, and this was one of them. And so I was like, oh my god, this looks so interesting, I have to read it. And I was expecting a more like the movie Spontaneous, starring Miss Catherine Langford from 13 Reasons Why, where her and her classmate starts to spontaneously combust, and she has a little lovey thing with one of the boys in the class, and it's really good. I love that movie. That's what I was more expecting, and especially because one of the blurbs says the cutest fucking book you'll ever read. And so this book is about this boy, I don't remember his name or whatever, Ethan, who is infatuated with the weird girl in his class called Spiderweb, because there's a rumor going around the school that there's like spiders living in her hair. So everyone calls her Spiderweb, and she's just weird and quiet and doesn't talk or whatever. And he's infatuated with her. They sit next to each other on the bus going home and to school, but they never talk. They just sit there quietly. And then so as their relationship develops, whenever she gets too excited, her face fucking explodes. And yeah. And I was expecting a more cutesy story, and it's very gory and gratuitous. The description of the face exploding, which didn't really bother me. Like, I'm a horror girly, I love horror, so it wasn't too horrible for me. But I was expecting more of a sweet love story. It wasn't super sweet. It was more like gory and like weird, and it went on weird like plot points that it decided to go to was more like weird and strange than just about the relationship. And there's also this side plot that was completely unnecessary, about the school bully who has tumors on him, and he calls them his like squigglies, I think, and he wants other students to suck his squigglies, his tumors. And as someone who had a dog, Lily, rest in peace, love you girl, she had a tumor on her stomach that at night when we were sleeping, it exploded and got all over my bed and stuff, and it was very traumatizing. Well, it wasn't really that traumatizing, it was just kind of like, oh my god, I'm sorry, girly. Because I was sad that the tumor was exploding. It wasn't that like triggering, but I just don't have a fondness for tumors, and so for this kid to try to get people to suck his tumors and stuff, it was really gross, and I did not like it. And it was just kind of unnecessary. It didn't really add anything to the story other than to be gross, which I didn't realize that's what the book this was to be gross. I thought it was like a sweet love story with like some gross elements with her face exploding. But yeah, I think overall it like was I did enjoy the weirdness of it. I think weird books are always fun, so I give it a 3-star. And my overall impression was a bizarre story with a disgusting tumor side plot that I couldn't get over. Was expecting spontaneous, that tumor bit, ... Two weirdos in love heart, and then a wild ending. Yeah, the ending is wild. And the song I picked for this is Nicotine by Can of Bliss. And yeah, so I gave it like a 2.5, 3 out of 5. But yeah. Okay, next book. The next book I read is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green, because this is a HBO Max movie that just came out, and I wanted to watch it because there's a deep lore with me and my friends is that I love the live action Dora movie. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's actually really good and really funny. It's like definitely for like kids. It's definitely like kids, but it's like, and it's not like you know, like some kids' movies, it's like for like, you feel like for like 3-year-olds that don't even comprehend their existence. This is more like, it's for, it can appeal to those kids, but also has more humor and jokes that could go like more like adult humor, kind of like Shrek and stuff. And I don't know, I love that movie. Isabella Merced, I think that's her name, is Dora in it, and she is the main character in the movie. And I was like, oh my god, I have to watch that. And so I was like, oh wait, I already have the book, which I don't remember buying this book, but I have it. So I was like, I already have it, and it's coming out. I have to read it. And yeah, so this is a story about a girl named Aza and her journey with her OCD and trying to overcome it to live her life. And it's really a story about her and her best friend, who are trying to figure out where this missing millionaire guy went so that they could get the reward money, because they're both not rich. So they want to get the money or whatever. And yeah, I really loved it. I loved hearing the story about OCDs and stuff and the thought process in her head. And I always like books like this to see someone else's perspective and how they tick and how they work and how, you know, everything like that. Because I've always hated the trope of like, oh, I'm OCD, I like to clean, I like everything clean. And it's like, you don't have OCD, sis. You just like to be clean and clean stuff. Like, that's not OCD. And it was really interesting to read about what OCD truly is and how it's truly affecting the people that live with it. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really loved it. There is a side plot, well, it's kind of a big plot, of Aza and this boy, Davis. They're kind of like little like romantic thing that I think completely fell flat for me. Personally, I think Davis was a very nothing character. I did like Davis's brother. I liked his little bits, but Davis as a character was a very nothing character, very shallowly written, but I think he served a purpose in the story, so I understand why he's there, but I would have cut him out and just left it to be a story about Daisy and Aza, because at the heart of the book, that's what I think it really is about their relationship. And yeah, I really liked it. I really enjoyed the movie as well. I thought the movie was great. The movie did change up some stuff, but nothing too crazy. And yeah, so I gave it a 4 out of 5. And my overall impression is Oz's journey with OCD is very interesting and informative. My main takeaways: I like how Aza and Daisy's relationship evolved. The romance with Davis was pretty bland. Being in Aza's hands was horribly readable. I lean towards Wookiees being animals. That's a whole thing. Applebee's is everywhere right now. Oh yeah, Applebee's. So, I watched Challengers in the beginning of May 1st. And obviously there's a big scene at Applebee's there, and I was like, oh, that's funny, because I also have a deep history with Applebee's. I love Applebee's. When I worked at, or volunteered at a horse farm, me, my mom, and my friend Kirsten used to always go to Applebee's after and eat, and the chicken fajita roll-up is fucking fire. It's so good. Highly recommend. And I don't know, I could waver from place to place or location to location, but the Applebee's that we went to was great. Loved it. And then so it popped up in Challengers, and I was like, oh, this is weird, Applebee's. And then the next night, we watched Survivor, and that episode was a Applebee's reward like thing, where like they got food from Applebee's, and this girl Liz completely lost her mind. She went, I'm pissed, a whole thing. Survivor, one of my favorite shows of all time. Survivor, Big Brother, they're my girlies. I have Vito back there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't care. I have an Immunity Idol too. Love them. And the Applebee rewards pops up here and there, but this one was definitely the most dramatic. And I was like, oh my god. And then after that, I started reading Turtles All the Way Down, and Applebee's is a recurring location in Turtles All the Way Down. And I was like, oh my god, I can't escape the Applebee's. This is fucking crazy. Then I think I watched something else, and Applebee's was in it again that I can't remember now. And then the song I picked for it, which is Serotonin by Girl in Red, which, yeah. Also, side plot, my mom went to school with Girl in Red's mom. They went to like preschool or like elementary school together before she moved to Norway. And I was like, because my mom was like, oh yeah, my friend, her daughter is Red Girl or whatever, because my mom can never pronounce anything correctly. And I was like, oh yeah. And I was like, oh my god. And also, she went to school with, if you watch Teen Wolf, Scott McCall's dad. I don't think she went to school with him, but like his like siblings or something, and I think she's like friendly with the mom. And like we got a Christmas card, and I looked at it, and fucking Scott McCall's dad is on the Christmas card. I was like, holy shit, yeah, it's crazy. Okay, the next book, which if you can see, I wrote nothing for it. Oops. The next book I read was, because it got selected in my random draw, whatever. It's Little Heaven by Nick Cutter. And this book is about a trio of, like, what are the hitmen or whatever, or assassins, whatever, that get hired to go visit the town of Little Heaven, which is in the middle of the woods, to find this kid whose dad took him there. Well, not to like take him away, but just to make sure he's doing okay and that he actually wants to be there, etc. And it's like culty there and stuff, and yeah, some shit goes down. And that's basically it. This book is almost 500 pages. And I think the biggest problem I have with this book is that there's dual timelines. So it flashes back and forth between the past and the present is maybe like 10% of this book. Most of it's the past, which in the present you find out all the characters that survived. So while you're in the past, there's no urgency with anything because you know everyone that survives, and you're like, okay, they're gonna make it out of it though. And I feel like that really killed the momentum for me, knowing what was gonna happen, and especially because the present bits were so small and tiny. It's like, well, nothing can really happen that's that exciting there, and nothing did. And it was kind of like, yeah, it was just very boring, very obvious, and I just had a fucking hard time getting through this and reading this. It's not like, it makes it sound like it's the worst book I've ever read. No, not at all. While I was reading it, I was fine with it. I just had no desire to actually pick it up and continue reading. I had such a hard time getting through this book because I just didn't really care one way or another. But I did it, I finished it, and I will say that like the bad guys, some of that stuff, I don't want to spoil anything, but I did enjoy them and their descriptors. Nick Cutter's great with descriptors, but this is another flop from him for me, so I think I'm probably retired from reading him. I love The Troop with him. I love The Troop. The Deep also fell short, and Little Heaven fell even shorter. So, I don't know. We'll see if anything new comes out and it looks interesting, but I was very, very disappointed in this. Obviously, like, culty vibes and stuff, so if you're into it, I don't know. You know, it just wasn't my favorite. It's really long. If you have Ever and, it is an audiobook on there, and it's really long, so if you need something to listen to, and like the culty vibes and stuff, just know Nick Cutter likes to get gory. He likes to hurt animals, like in this, not in, like in his books and stuff, so just a heads up. And yeah, but I was just overall very underwhelmed and bored and was ready for shit to happen and be over, you know. Then, so I gave this a 2 and 2.5, somewhere around there. When I first finished, it was a 2.5. Now it's more like a 2. Then I said, my overall impression, I wasn't bored, but I wasn't entertained either. Main takeaways, nothing. Literally nothing. I feel nothing for the characters. I feel nothing for the story or what happened in the story. It was nothing super interesting. It was just kind of like, you know, I don't know. It just did nothing for me. And then the song I picked for it is J Christ by Lil Nas X. Bitch, I'm like J Christ. I'm finna get the haze hot. I'm finna get the haze hot. Whatever. Okay. Now, let's pick my random book. color should we do? I kind of want to do orange. I like orange. No, I'm not feeling it. I'm going to do a random one. Purple. Loveless by Alice Oseman. I'm actually excited because I've been wanting to get to it. And also, happy Pride! I got Pride, my Pride nails. Just rainbow or whatever. Happy Pride! Happy Pride! So yeah, Loveless. Yay! I'm excited. Okay. Bye bye, girly pops. Have a good, fun, safe Pride.